Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while, about 3 years actually, but I'm finally back and things are going to be very different this time. I rebranded the channel to better reflect the insane value I'm about to bring to you. I have a ton of insights to share that could create life-changing opportunities for you in trading and investing. So with that said, let's get right into today's topic. So guys, we will be starting here at the weekly chart on the Bitcoin dominance. And what we clearly can see, we have a very different path if we compare to the last bull run. And the reason for that is obviously that Bitcoin has outperformed Ethereum and altcoins this cycle because of the big institutional investors. So if we get some paint to the chart, we can see very clearly here that we have two big support and resistance zones that we need to be aware of. And the first big one you can see here at 57%, and the second big one is down here at 52%. You can see they both have a lot of resistance and support. We're zooming in a little bit here to the daily time frame, and as you can see, the patterns that I showed you before here are making much more sense now with this upsloping, upwards trending channel that we had, and also a small rising wedge within it. And you see that it first broke this rising wedge that we had, and it met the target completely at the bottom of the wedge here. And then we went up to test the outbreak of the rising wedge within this channel, and we have been shopping around since then and went up here again to the top of the channel. And as you can see here, we got a big reversal candle here on the daily time frame, and the question is here if we are going to continue to go down here. And as I said before, the target we are looking for to begin with is this 57% support and resistance zone. And if we actually go under this 59% here, we are pretty much confirming an altcoin season to start. And the question is, it's impossible to know how big it's going to be. But if we are going down to this 57% levels and we are breaking this, and then we're probably going to go all the way down here to 54% or even to the next Fibonacci retracement level at 52, maybe 51 to 53%. So if we zoom in a little bit more to the 4-hourly time frame here on the Bitcoin dominance chart, we can see that we had a symmetrical triangle here at the top. And of course, the wick here is looking very insane here on the 4-hourly chart. And you can see that we're already breaking down of this symmetrical triangle here, and that the target for this breakdown is down here to 60%. So the next chart we are looking at is the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart. And in my opinion, it's one of the most important charts to look at if we want to confirm the altcoin season, because Ethereum will be a leading indicator for a lot of the other altcoins in the market. Okay, so we are zooming into the daily time frame here, and we can see some very interesting things here. We can see that we have a downwards sloping channel here, and that we have got a pretty good support on the downside here every time that we've tested this support line here. And as you can see here, we got a big wick to the upside with big volume here. That's literally confirming that the smart money is buying Ethereum here, or that they are exchanging their Bitcoins to Ethereum. You can see the same here, that the volume spikes are very high here at the support. And it's the same thing. If the volume is high and we see a big spike or a big wick, like a hammer candle that we see here, and it happens at a support line, it is a very good opportunity to exchange some Bitcoin to Ethereum, since that's a sign that the smart money is accumulating, and you want to be on the same side as the smart money. So to start with, if we talk about this EMA ribbon a little bit, we can see that the price is far away from the weekly EMA ribbon. And as you can see, sooner than later, the price catches up with the EMA ribbon. So in this case, we don't need to think about that so much more. I want to go to the next indicator that we have here that I haven't talked about before on my channel and that I've been using a lot. The on balance volume that we have down here. And this is one of my favorite indicators. And it's a little bit similar to the volume bars here, but instead it's on a line, and you see also a smaller line in the middle. That's a simple moving average, and it's the median of the last 21 days here. So what do on balance volume do that's so important to us? At first, you can see that on balance volume goes the same way as the price do. And when it do that, it confirms the price action. And when you see, if you analyze this on balance volume in the chart, on any chart, it doesn't matter what chart, you will find divergences. You will see sometimes that if we take an example here, that the price is going down here, you see that, and the on balance volume is going up. If you take a quick example here, you can see that we had a downwards trend line here, and on the on balance volume, we can actually do it this way. We didn't have a downwards trending channel. So in this case, if you would have seen this in the bottom here, we could have made like 17% here. Simple as that. It was telling you that some guys are accumulating. And the thing is, if you use this and also look at these volume bars over here, you see that we had very low volume here when we had this divergence. And in the end here, look at this candlestick here. If we zoom in a little bit here, this candlestick here, we got great support with a big wick underwards, a big volume bar, and you can also see that we are breaking. Zoom in a little bit here. We already went higher on balance volume when the price was lower. It literally confirmed that we were going to go up from there. So you could have jumped in a trade or sold some Bitcoin for Ethereum here and made a 17% profit. Of course, it wouldn't have been easy to exactly time the top here, but at least you could have made 10%. The next indicator I would like to look at here is the VRVP that you can see here to the right. And this actually represents the area where the price has been traded the most. And you can see here around this big spike here, we have the area with most amount of trades made. And this indicator is very good to actually confirm support and resistance zone, because the price always tends to go like a magnet to these big zones. So as you can see here, for example, where the price are now, when we got a big support here with a wick, we have a great zone of previous big support and resistance here. So this zone is very important to hold for the price to actually get a reversal. So the last indicator that I use a lot, and that I also used for 3 years ago when I made my last video here. And you can see that it's the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. And what does that indicator do? It is showing us the momentum of the current price or commodity, or what we're talking about here. In this case, Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And what we clearly can see here, it's the same as we look at on the on-balance volume. We want to look for divergences. And we can clearly see here that we have a bullish divergence with 3 waves on the RSI. And when you get, often the price goes down in waves. And Sometimes it goes down in 2 waves and reverses big. Sometimes it goes down in 3 waves and reverses big. Sometimes it does 4 or 5 waves. But often it does 3 to 4 waves. So in this case, and when you can see that the momentum is heavily oversold, it's under the 30 line on the weekly time frame, it indicates that this is a potential big reversal incoming here in the long run. And remember that the weekly time frame can actually take maybe weeks, maybe months to play out here. Okay, so we are shifting to the daily time frame here instead. It's a long video with a lot of graphs, but since there is a lot of new things, I really want to explain as much as I can so you understand what I'm talking about in the charts here. And of course, I will do videos on the indicators separately where you can learn everything about a single indicator and how you can use it to maximize your trading gains. And if we talk about the daily time frame here, we can see clearly that the on-balance volume is following the price, it looks like. And we have also a bullish divergence on the RSI with 3 waves at least, even if you count this one, but it's a little bit too far off to count. But we have 3 waves here of bullish divergence, even maybe 4 waves. In oversold territory on the momentum. So it's a pretty good sign. If we actually take into consideration here, this candlestick is not bad. This red candlestick here is actually very good for us. We can see if this candlestick would have been bad, the price would have been down here. The volume spike here confirms that there was a lot of buyers defending this zone. And if you go back a little bit here, the same with this candle here. It was a big volume and there were a lot of buyers defending this support here. And the same we can see if you go to the next wave up here. It was a lot of buyers defending this support here. So often the price do this like 1 wave, 2 wave, 3 wave, and maybe 4 waves here. And then it go and reverses up. So is this a good time to buy Ethereum and altcoins? It looks like we are heading to a reversal. Maybe we can do a little bit more downward sloping here and maybe get a bigger divergence here on the on-balance volume and maybe go and test this next support line one more time before we go up here. But we will also do a check on the 4-hourly time frame here and see if we can find something that aligns with the weekly and the daily time frame. And here we can see some interesting things, I guess. Only thing that I hate with this on-balance volume is that you always need to get it right on each time frame here, but doesn't matter. So what can we see here? It seems like on the on-balance volume, this is an interesting thing. We see that the price is going down on the, or it's going up on the 4-hourly time frame here, but the on-balance volume is not with us here. It's going down. You can see. And this actually confirms a little bit that we probably are going to go down to this support line here and test it again. And hopefully we hold this line here and break this symmetrical triangle pattern on the 4-hourly to the upside here. And we can actually measure this. This breakup will happen very soon. And we can see that if we break down, we are going to break this big key support that we have. And hopefully, if that scenario plays out, we are getting a wick up and close a daily candle above this. We don't want to close a daily candle under this big support line. That wouldn't be great for the altcoin season. But if we break up here, we can actually see that the target is around the next big support and resistance level up here. And if we check out the on-balance volume, we can't see any clear sign on the 4-hourly time frame on which direction the price will go. So we are jumping over to the daily chart on the Ethereum versus the US dollar to get another perspective here if the altcoin season is about to start soon. And what you can see here is that we had a big falling wedge here which I believe there was a lot of people accumulating Ethereum in this wedge. And I guess that a lot of people got liquidated when we just pushed down all the way to $2,100 here. And the reason for that is that you can see here that we had a bullish divergence on the on-balance volume here, and we can see that the smart money accumulated here on 3,000 US dollars on this falling wedge. And when we broke down here, we got an insanely incredible bullish candles. We went all the way down here to $2,100 and then went up here and closed on the same day at $2,800. And this amount of volume, and when it closes like a hammer candle like this, is incredibly bullish. It's like you can go into a trade in blind spot. But many times it's also good to wait a little bit after and see if the next candle confirms the price action of the hammer candle. And what we can see after here, we got decent volume on this next candle, and we can see that we got a little wick here. If this was confirmed selling volume with this amount of selling, the candlestick would be much longer down. And as you can see after, the volume is going down and the candlesticks are getting smaller. We are getting some wicks on the bottom side here. And on the on-balance volume, we can see that we now have a huge bullish divergence. And this is exactly what you want to look for. And when it appears on the daily time frame, on the bigger time frames, on daily and weekly, it's a very good place to accumulate the asset that you're looking at, because this heavily confirms that a lot of big players are accumulating a lot of Ethereum here. So you shouldn't be so afraid that the trend is actually downwards right now, because I guess this is a great place to accumulate more. Of course, it's not 100% certain that we are going directly up from here. We can make it like a wick lower down to 2,400, 2,300, or this range under here once again to liquidate a lot of accumulation here. So in this case, if you buy a spot instead of going for like a leverage long or something like that, it doesn't matter if it goes down to 2,200 or something like that, because it will probably go up here. And the thing I want to say here also before the video gets too long here, but if you watch all the way through this, you want to know with the on-balance volume when it gets invalidated, when the divergence gets invalidated. And in this case, if the on-balance volume would go under this horizontal line, under this last bottom that we had here, if the on-balance volume confirms under this line, sometimes it go a little bit under and then just fakes up. But if you can see a clear confirmation and you want to see it with a big red candle and big volume, then the divergence is invalidated and you can safely jump out of your trade and sell your Ethereum. But as long as that doesn't happen, you can comfortably hold Ethereum and just wait. So there was a very long time since I made a video, actually over 3 years ago. I wanted to give you as much information as possible. And if you didn't understand all the indicators I was using, I will make sure to do some videos where I explain all the different indicators in depth and how you build a trading strategy for winners. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. And if you have any questions or something you want me to talk about, feel free to comment below. The next video will be released on Monday, so stay tuned.